Would you dare to touch Jesus himself, carelessly? To walk into a church, open the tabernacle, touch the dwelling place of the Blessed Sacrament, without reverence, without preparation, as if it were just any cabinet? Well, believe it or not, this is happening, and more than we can imagine. The tabernacle isn't a church decoration, it is the place where God himself dwells. There is Jesus Christ, alive, real, present in the Eucharist. And yet, there are people who enter the sacristy and touch the tabernacle hastily, carelessly, with disrespect, and sometimes they don't even know what they're doing. Have you ever witnessed something like this? Have you ever seen someone treating the Blessed Sacrament with disregard? Tell us in the comments below. Let's open the church's eyes to what is happening. This video is a call for reverence, and if you feel that respect for God needs to return to our churches, stay with us until the end, because this will touch your soul. The tabernacle is the heart of the church. It's not just a pretty little golden box. It's where the greatest treasure of humanity is kept, the body of Christ, the Eucharist. Yes, right there inside is Jesus. Not a symbol, not a souvenir. It is him, present in body, blood, soul, and divinity. That's why every church has the tabernacle in a central place, visible and dignified. There's the King of Kings waiting for us. And what does the church teach about this? The Redemptionis Sacramentum makes it clear, no one can touch the tabernacle without permission. The church rigorously protects this sacred place because it knows that he dwells there, before whom every knee shall bow. In the Old Testament, the Ark of the Covenant was so sacred that whoever touched it improperly died. Today we have something even more sacred. God himself made food, and often we treat it casually. If this content is helping you understand more about our faith, click the subscribe button now. Here we talk about what many prefer to ignore, and we're not going to stop. In front of the tabernacle, what's expected isn't noise, it's silence, not rushing, but adoration, not just any posture. It's knees on the ground. Did you walk into the church and see the sanctuary lamp lit? Jesus is there. Kneel, even if you're in a hurry, even if it's just for a second. That's not just any place, it's heaven touching earth. The church teaches us that genuflecting before the tabernacle is an act of adoration to Christ himself. It's a simple gesture but full of faith, and every time someone walks in and goes straight past, head held high without even remembering who is there, an opportunity to love God is lost. The saints knew this. St. John Vianney would spend hours in silence before the tabernacle. St. Clare would make the sign of the cross with the Eucharist in her hands, and miracles would happen. They knew. The secret to holiness begins with reverence before the real presence. And you? Have you ever seen people treating the tabernacle like it's just another piece of furniture in the church? Share in the comments. Let's show that this problem is more common than it seems, and that faith needs to be rekindled. There are things you just don't do in front of the tabernacle, and yet, they happen, every week, in many parishes. Let's be clear, a layperson can't open the tabernacle without permission. That's the job of the priest or someone who has special permission to do so. Touching the tabernacle as if picking up any old object, very serious. Another mistake, talking loudly near the tabernacle. Sometimes, even at the end of Mass, people gather nearby to chat, laugh, plan a party, but Jesus is there, alone, ignored. Walking past the tabernacle without genuflecting, another sign of disrespect. It's not about formalism, it's about recognizing that God is there, and God deserves more than our haste and distraction. And maybe the worst of all, talking to Jesus in the Eucharist as if you were talking to just anyone, without faith, without devotion. The language of the heart disappears when there is no reverence. Think about this with me. Some people kneel before human authorities like judges, bosses, politicians, and before God, they stand. Jesus' presence in the Eucharist isn't just a nice idea, it's a fact, it's a dogma, it's the truth of our faith. And if he is there, then everything changes. The Church, throughout the centuries, has always protected the tabernacle with rules, rituals, outward signs of respect because we're not dealing with bread, we are before a living God. Pope Benedict XVI said that without the Eucharist, the Church simply doesn't exist. And yet, how many churches treat the tabernacle like an afterthought, hidden in a corner, without respect, without presence, without love? The general instruction of the Roman Missal and the Redemptionist Sacramentum teach us how to treat the real presence with dignity. The space should be reserved with clear signs, and the behavior of the faithful should express adoration. The liturgy is not a theater, it is a school of reverence. Every gesture, every silence, every glance teaches the heart to recognize Jesus, because if he is present on the altar, then our whole posture should be a response of faith, of love, of holy fear. Faced with so much carelessness, what can we do? It starts with you. Reverence spreads when someone has the courage to live what they believe. Enter the church quietly, genuflect slowly, looking towards the tabernacle. If possible, pause for a moment and say, "I adore you, my hidden Jesus." These simple gestures speak volumes. If you are a Eucharistic minister, a sacristan, an altar server, be even more careful. You are serving the King. The way you touch holy things should be a prayer. And when you see something wrong, correct it with charity. Don't point fingers, but teach, lead by example. Say with love, "Jesus is there, shall we kneel?" Sometimes a single sentence changes everything. And finally, teach others, create a worship group, share this video, teach the children, the youth. If today's generation loses their sense of the sacred, who will teach tomorrow's? If you love Jesus in the Blessed Sacrament, subscribe and like this video right now, and share this video with someone who needs to hear this. Let's rekindle reverence in the Church, because where there is respect, God remains. Do you want to understand the prophecies shaping the future of the world? In the ebook Catholic Prophecies, The Future of the World Revealed, you'll uncover powerful messages from the Bible, saints, and Marian apparitions. Most importantly, you'll see how they connect to the times we are living in. Don't be left in the dark. Get your copy now. The link is in the description and pinned comment.